Welcome to the Deep Dive. If you're looking for the ultimate breakdown of free practice for Monza, well, you've definitely come to the right place. Right now, the air around the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, the legendary Temple of Speed, it's probably still vibrating a bit with the ghost of those roaring engines.
You can almost smell it, can't you? The fuel, the hot tires.
Exactly. And that excitement, that palpable excitement of the Tifosi Ferrari's famously passionate fans, it's almost a physical thing you feel there.
It really is.
Today, September 5th, 2025, it's been all about that first day of free practice for the Italian Grand Prix, and what a fascinating day it's turned out to be.
Indeed. And these initial sessions, FP1 and FP2, they're much more than just, drivers going around and around. They're absolutely crucial data gathering exercises. They really set the stage for the whole weekend.
Right.
So our mission today really is to sift through all that information, the team radio, driver interviews, the on-track stuff, and all the great F1 chat we follow. We're here to cut through the noise.
Yeah, distill it down.
Exactly. Distill the essential information and give you the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight from what we've seen unfold today.
That's exactly right. Think of this as your shortcut to truly understanding the pulse of Monza right now. Even if you couldn't watch every single minute live, and let's be honest, who can? Life happens.
Right.
By the end of this deep dive, you'll be fully up to speed. You'll know who's looking quick, who's maybe got a few challenges ahead, and what it all kind of means for what promises to be, well, an utterly thrilling qualifying session and a really high-stakes race weekend. We're going to unpack the key events, dissect the driver performances, highlight those surprising moments, and, connect all the dots for you. So are you ready to dive in?
Absolutely. But I think to really appreciate what happened today, the nuances of it all, we first need to maybe just set the scene a bit. Talk about the unique character of Monza itself.
Good point.
It's not just any old circuit, is it? It's a legend in Formula One, steeped in history and just defined by its sheer raw speed.
The Monza stage setting the scene for speed.
You can almost feel that speed, can't you?
Yeah.
Monza truly earns its name, the Temple of Speed. It's famous for those incredibly long straights, the iconic fast corners like Curva Grande, the Lesmos, Parabolica.
Legendary corners.
But from a technical standpoint, what really sets it apart? Why do teams roll out these, pretty extreme low downforce setups we only see here?
Precisely. That low downforce philosophy, it is the defining characteristic of Monza, and it fundamentally dictates a very, very specific car setup. Teams show up here with what are basically skinny rear wings.
Right, the Monza spec wing.
Exactly, often called that. They offer minimal aerodynamic drag, minimal resistance, but it's not just the rear wing. It goes for the front wing, too. Elements are trimmed right back. Even the floor and diffuser designs are optimized purely for straight line speed, not maximum cornering grip.
So it's all about slicing through the air.
It is. The goal is just to maximize that top-end speed down those massive straights like the main straight, Rettifilo, and the run down to Ascari. You basically accept a trade-off. You sacrifice some cornering stability, maybe some braking performance to get that raw speed.
It's a gamble almost.
In a way. The cars are built for pure velocity. It pushes the engines. It pushes the car's aerodynamic slipperiness to the absolute limit.
And what does that mean for the cars themselves? And team strategies, especially, for teams whose cars might rely more on downforce usually? Does it kind of level the playing field or benefit certain teams?
Oh, it definitely benefits some more than others. Teams with really strong engine power and cars that are naturally aerodynamically efficient, low drag, they tend to thrive here.
Makes sense.
Conversely, teams whose cars typically need higher downforce to find lap time or maybe struggle a bit with drag anyway, they can find themselves really on the back foot at Monza.
So even with special wings?
Yeah, even with the custom rear wings everyone brings, trying to fundamentally shift the aero balance of a car just for Monza can be a huge challenge. Some cars might be absolute rockets in a straight line, but then become really twitchy, really difficult to handle under braking or turning into the faster corners. It demands just absolute precision and confidence from the driver. It's a proper test of a car's power-to-drag ratio and, how well a team can adapt its core philosophy.
Wait, so that's the unique track demands. What about the conditions out there today? Because weather, track temp, that always plays such a huge part, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And fortunately, I'd say the conditions have been remarkably stable and quite warm, which is pretty much ideal for that initial data gathering.
Good for the teams then.
Yeah, very good. Ambient temps today were consistently around, 25 to 27 degrees Celsius, but the track surface itself was much hotter. We saw it hitting between 37 and 41 degrees.
Wow, that's quite a difference.
It is. We also had light winds, maybe picking up just a little bit in the afternoon for FP2, but crucially, no rain and none expected for the rest of the weekend, looking at the forecast.
Okay, so stable conditions.
Yeah, that consistency is a real bonus for the teams. It lets them just focus purely on optimizing the car, understanding the tires without worrying about changing grip levels or track evolution because of rain. It allows for direct comparisons, setup changes, strategy runs, much cleaner data.
And of course, when you talk grip and performance, you got to talk tires.
Mm-hmm.
Pirelli brought their specific compounds for Monza. What were they offering up, and what does that tell us?
Well, Pirelli, as you'd expect from Monza, brought their softest range of compounds. So we had the C3 compound as the hard tire, that's the white sidewall, the C4 as the medium, the yellow one, and the C5 is the softest option, the red tire.
The qualifying tire, usually.
Exactly. This selection is a clear signal that Pirelli doesn't anticipate really severe tire degradation here, but the demand for just outright grip for that one single blistering qualifying lap is incredibly high.
So the C5 is key for Saturday.
Absolutely crucial for qualifying pace. But, in practice today, teams were meticulously checking its longevity, its degradation rates, looking for any signs of blistering or graining, which could really mess up your race strategy if it falls apart too quickly.
And the harder compounds.
Yeah.
The C3 hard, the C4 medium.
Yeah.
How do they fit into the weekend plan?
Those are going to be the workhorses for the race stints. Most likely, the C4 medium usually offers a pretty good balance, decent grip, decent durability, makes it a strong candidate for maybe the first stint or a crucial middle part of the race.
And the C3?
The C3 hard, yeah, it'll be slower on a single lap, obviously, but it's expected to be really robust, could potentially allow for longer stints, maybe reducing the number of pit stops. The data they gathered today, all those long runs, will be absolutely vital for teams to figure out the optimal race strategy. Is it a one-stop, a two-stop? Which compounds do you prioritize? Especially given the degradation seemed relatively low today. Drivers were definitely pushing those compounds in race simulations to really understand their performance window and how long they'll last.
Okay, so stable conditions, Pirelli's softest tires, all setting the stage for pure speed. But actually, beyond the track action today, there were a couple of really significant headlines breaking, weren't there? Things with a wider look at F1's future. First up, Monaco.
Yes, that was big news. Really significant for the sport's heritage. And let's be honest, its commercial side too. Formula One officially announced today the renewal of the Monaco Grand Prix.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Secured its place on the calendar right through until 2035.
That's another decade.
Another decade of racing through those iconic streets in Monte Carlo. I think traditionalists and fans who, cherish the glamour and the history of that event will be pretty relieved.
Yeah, despite the overtaking debates.
Exactly. Despite the ongoing debates about whether it suits modern F1 cars purely from a racing perspective, but it's a testament to the unique place Monaco holds. Its renewal ensures one of F1's crown jewels continues to be part of the championship, keeping that link between history and the sport's future alive.
And speaking of iconic, Ferrari. In their home race, the Italian Grand Prix, and they've really gone all out this year with a pretty special livery, haven't they? It feels like more than just paint.
It absolutely is, and very much in the Tifosi spirit, Ferrari unveiled this unique decoration for their cars this weekend. It's a beautiful, actually quite poignant tribute to the legend Niki Lauda.
Oh, okay.
This year marks 50 years since Lauda won his first Formula One title with Maranello. He's such an iconic figure in their history.
Absolutely.
The livery, it's got elements that hark back to that era. It's a really powerful visual reminder of Ferrari's amazing past and their connection to the legends who've driven for them.
And what makes it even more interesting?
Exactly. What makes it even more fascinating, almost poetic, is that this is Lewis Hamilton's very first Monza GP as a Ferrari driver. And he's doing it wearing these special historical colors.
That's incredible timing.
It really is a moment of huge symbolism, isn't it? Linking Ferrari's glorious past with this massive new chapter for the Scuderia, with Hamilton now leading the charge.
Free practice 1, first shots fired.
Which brings us perfectly to free practice 1, where the first shots were, well, truly fired today. And what a start it was, especially if you bleed Ferrari red.
Oh, the Tifosi must have been absolutely buzzing. As the cars rolled out, you could almost feel it. And then as the time started settling, it was just, well, initial delight for the Ferrari fans.
Wow.
Lewis Hamilton, in his first Monza GP for Ferrari, he topped the timesheets. A 1.1 0.117.
Wow.
And right behind him, making a Ferrari 1-2, was Charles Leclerc.
A Ferrari lockout straight away.
Right out of the gate at Monza. You couldn't script a better start to ignite the passion of that home crowd. It sent a very clear message. Ferrari is here to fight, and they're doing it in style.
And you mentioned it, but it's worth repeating. For Lewis Hamilton, this isn't just another race. This is his first Monza GP in a Ferrari. There's a real historical weight to that, isn't there? We've seen only a handful of drivers win on their Ferrari debut at Monza.
They're a very select group.
We're talking absolute legends. Leclerc himself in 2019, Alonso in 2010, Schumacher 96, Scheckter 79, Regazzoni back in 1970. Hamilton is clearly aiming to add his name to that incredibly exclusive list. The pressure, the expectation, it must be immense for him this weekend.
Absolutely immense. And it just adds this incredible layer of narrative to everything he does. However, there's a pretty significant shadow hanging over his weekend, isn't there? Stemming from Zandvoort.
Ah, yes, the penalty.
Hamilton's carrying that 5-place grid penalty into this race for that yellow flag infringement he picked up there. He himself said he was shocked by the decision at the time, suggesting he felt he'd reacted okay.
Right.
But that penalty means no matter how brilliantly he qualifies tomorrow, he starts 5 places further back on Sunday.
That's a huge setback at Monza.
It's substantial. It forces Ferrari to completely rethink their race strategy. Maybe focus on slipstreaming tactics in qualifying. Try and tow him up the order, and then rely on strong race pace and maybe clever pit work to make up ground on Sunday. It really changes his goal from maybe outright pole to damage limitation and strategic cleverness.
Despite that challenge looming, though, that initial pace from Ferrari was just undeniable. And it wasn't just Hamilton and Leclerc setting fast times. Carlos Sainz, still very much a Ferrari driver this weekend, he had a really strong start, too.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz put in an impressive 3rd place in FT1, a 1.2 decent 6.0. What was particularly interesting about his run was the strong case he showed, especially in the harder tire compounds.
Oh, interesting.
It's not just raw speed it reflects confidence. Confidence in his driving, sure, but also in the Ferrari's ability to manage different tire strategies well, potentially gives them more options for the race. His smooth style often helps with tire saving, which is key here.
So, good signs all around for Ferrari early on.
Yeah, his consistent performance across different tires suggests they've found a pretty solid setup for Monza's unique challenges.
And it kind of connects to something else we noticed today, Williams, a team that often just quietly gets on with it. They seem to have this, renewed sense of optimism for this particular race. Felt different.
It absolutely did. Williams has specifically highlighted Monza as a circuit that should really suit the characteristics of their car, the FW47. They typically run a very efficient, low-drag package.
Which is exactly what you need here.
Exactly what Monza demands. They're currently holding a really respectable 5th place in the constructors' standings. That's a position they're obviously keen to hang on to, and a strong result here could really help solidify that.
And they were involved with SAINZ'S penalty, too.
Interestingly, yeah, they've actually requested a review of SAINZ'S 10-second penalty from Zandvoort, which just shows their meticulous focus on every single point, every detail that could affect their standing. Their confidence really stems from the car's strengths on these fast-flowing circuits where straight-line speed is king. This track is definitely a big opportunity for them to score good points, maybe even surprise a few midfield rivals.
Okay, so in stark contrast to Ferrari's high hopes and Williams' quiet confidence, Fernando Alonso. He seemed to arrive with a much more cautious, almost realistic view of the weekend. And his FP1 performance kind of reflected that, didn't it?
Yeah, Fernando finished 9th in FP1 with a 1.21.813, which, by his incredibly high standards, wasn't amazing. He had, in fact, already predicted it might be a complicated weekend for Aston Martin.
Right.
The AMR25, while it's shown really good improvements on higher downforce tracks, it just doesn't naturally suit Monza's high-efficiency, low downforce demands. The car generally prefers circuits where it can really lean on its aero package for grip.
So even the updates might not be enough.
Well, Aston Martin did bring a new rear wing tweak, specifically designed for Monza's speed. But the team's overall outlook remained pretty cautious, prioritizing realism over maybe wishful thinking. Alonso's comments even suggested some struggles getting the best out of the tires, especially the softer ones. Suggests a deeper challenge in finding the car's sweet spot for this very specific track layout.
Even for Alonso, who can usually wring its neck.
Exactly. He's known for extracting every last drop of performance, but even he admits the car has limitations here.
Okay, so beyond the big names, we also saw some new faces on track today, part of F1's rookie program. And, well, a few familiar Monza incidents cropped up too, reminding us just how tricky this place can be.
Indeed. Always good to see fresh talent getting some proper track time. We have Paul Aron driving for Alpine, stepping in for Franco Colapinto, and Alex Dunn was in the McLaren instead of Oscar Piastri. These sessions are just invaluable for driver development and for teams to check out future prospects.
But the session wasn't smooth sailing for everyone.
No. Unfortunately, it was also marked by widespread complaints about traffic, which is just a notorious issue at Monza, isn't it, on those long straights?
Always bunching up for a tow.
Exactly. Drivers bunch up looking for that slipstream, and just finding a clear bit of track for a flying lap can be incredibly difficult. Pierre Gasly was visibly frustrated, pretty vocal on the radio. Had some rather colorful words for Carlos Sainz.
Yes, I heard about that.
Which certainly capture the intensity and the pressure, even in just a practice session. It's a recurring theme here, highlights the tiny margins and the sometimes aggressive moves just for track position.
And one of those rookies, Kimi Antonelli, a name generating a lot of buzz, he had a bit of a tough start to his Monza weekend, didn't he? Caused the first red flag.
Antonelli, yeah, he triggered the first red flag of the day. About 25 minutes into the session, I think it was, he had a trip through the gravel at Variante Ascari.
Tricky braking zone there.
Notoriously tricky. The incident left quite a lot of gravel scattered across the track, so they had to stop the session while the marshals cleared it all up.
Costly delay.
Very costly. And actually, this wasn't his first time causing a red flag at Monza. He had a similar moment during free practice back in 2024. These incidents, while they're a harsh way to learn, they really highlight the immense pressure on these young drivers and just how fine the line is between pushing the limits and making a mistake on such a high-speed place.
Yeah.
And yeah, it significantly disrupted the session, cost everyone valuable track time.
Okay, other notables from FP1. Lando Norris finished 6th, but apparently struggled a bit with grip and balance, especially in the high-speed stuff.
Yeah, reports suggested that.
Max Verstappen was 4th, solid, but maybe not dominant pace just yet. And Oscar Piastri, as you said, sat out FP1 for the rookie Dunn, saving himself for FP2. All of which really set the stage perfectly for free practice 2, where things, well, they really started to heat up.
Absolutely. FP2 saw drivers pushing much harder, closer to the limit, and that fight for the top spot became incredibly intense. Lap times started tumbling.
Free practice 2, pushing the envelope in close fights.
Right, so for FP2, the track conditions stayed warm, stayed stable, which is great for consistency. But we did see that slight increase in wind you mentioned. That can always throw a bit of a curveball for these low downforce cars, can it? Makes corner entry, stability, even trickier.
Definitely can unsettle the car. But as soon as that pit lane opened, it was just immediate action. Loads of drivers flooded onto the track, mostly on medium and hard tires to start with, just getting their eye in, establishing baselines.
But unfortunately...
Another interruption.
Yes, unfortunately, we saw a repeat performance from young Kimi Antonelli. He caused a second red flag, this time about 50 minutes into the session.
Oh, dear. Again.
Yeah. On this occasion, he went wide and got properly stuck in the gravel trap at Lesmos 2. He immediately apologized over the radio. You could hear the disappointment. He knew the impact it would have, the frustration for teams trying to get those qualifying sims done.
2 red flags in one day at your home track. That's tough. Very tough lesson for a young driver in such a crucial session. Impacts his own learning, his team's data gathering. It just highlights, again, those very fine margins and how unforgiving Monza can be.
Despite those interruptions, though, the battle at the very front in FP2 was absolutely fierce, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Lando Norris, who maybe seemed a bit quiet in FP1, he really came alive, set a blistering pace.
Norris emerged fastest, with an impressive 1.12.878, which, get this, was half a second faster than the pole time from 2024.
Half a second, wow.
Just underscores how quick and how aerodynamically efficient these 2025 cars really are. He showed phenomenal pace, really showcasing the strength of that McLaren package, even after a little scare.
What happened?
Had a near miss at the second chicane, read a filo, had to catch a slide, and he even broke his right mirror somewhere along the way. Just shows how hard he was pushing, right on the edge.
But the really fascinating thing
was how incredibly close the top times were. Norris, Leclerc, Sainz, all separated by less than a tenth of a second.
Less than a tenth.
Tiny margin. And even Piastri, Hamilton, and Verstappen were all within 0.2 of Norris's benchmark time.
That is ridiculously close.
Microscopic margins. It just sets up an absolutely thrilling qualifying session tomorrow. Every millisecond, every tiny bit of precision, every strategic call. It's going to be absolutely critical. Promises a proper fight for pole.
Okay, let's dive a bit deeper into some of those individual performances from FP2, because there were some real standouts, and for some, well, the struggles continued. Starting with Lando Norris, he really put down a marker today.
Norris's fastest time in FP2 was definitely a statement of intent, and a crucial one for him. Despite that moment at the chicane, despite the broken mirror, his raw pace, his confidence, it was undeniable. After that DNF at Zandvoort, which must have been a really bitter pill.
Huge blow to his championship hopes.
Exactly. He desperately needs a perfect weekend here to stay right in that championship fight. This performance suggests McLaren have found a really strong setup for Monza. His ability to carry speed through those fast corners, particularly the Lesmos, suggests the car is not just efficient, but surprisingly stable at high speed too. That's the key balance at the Temple of Speed.
It's not just power then.
No, it points to a really nuanced aero package and, well, a driver absolutely on top of his game.
And Charles Leclerc. Second in FP1, he continued his strong run for Ferrari in FP2, keeping those Tifosi hopes burning bright.
Leclerc backed it up with a strong second place, yeah. Just fractions behind Norris. He did have his own little moment, though. An excursion off track at Variante-Ascari.
Seems everyone was pushing the limits there.
Absolutely illustrates the fine margins they're all operating on when pushing flat out. But his continued fast pace, especially on the softer tires during what looked like race simulation runs, that bodes really well for Ferrari's hopes at their home race.
He loves this track, too.
He does. He's known for his aggression, his ability to find that one-lap pace. And today he showed he's pushing the car right to its limit, trying to maintain that balance between speed and control. His consistency across both sessions will be a massive confidence boost for the whole team.
And Carlos Sainz, again, showed really impressive consistency, didn't he? Cementing his place as a strong contender this weekend.
Sainz finished a very consistent P3 in FP2. Echoed his strong FP1 run. He was actually one of only 2 drivers, along with Norris, to dip into the 1:19's bracket. Shows his raw speed and the effectiveness of that Ferrari package.
And he had a radio message near the end.
Yeah, towards the end of the session, he was heard asking his engineers to check the floor for potential damage, which just indicates how hard he was pushing, the risks these guys take bouncing over the curbs on this high-speed circuit.
Could use every inch of track.
Absolutely. His ability to consistently punch in strong lap times on different tires suggests he's got a really well-balanced car underneath him and a clear idea of how to get the maximum out of it here. Given his determination, that consistency is a great sign for Ferrari.
Okay, Oscar Piastri, current championship leader. Back in the car for FP2 after sitting out FP1. How did the leader fare in his first proper taste of Monza this weekend?
Piastri got up to speed very quickly, finished 4th in FP2, less than 0.2 off Norris's benchmark. Impressive after missing the first session. He still leads the championship, remember, 309 points, a pretty healthy 34 ahead of Norris, so he's in commanding position coming into the weekend.
Any interesting comments from him?
Interestingly, yeah, he made a small but quite telling comment over the radio, noted that his seat was quite hot, just like last year.
Oh.
Yeah. It seems like a minor detail, but it gives you a little glimpse into the physical demands, the specific conditions inside the cockpit at Monza. Engine heat, brake heat, it can really build up in that tight monocoque, even when it's not scorching hot outside. But yeah, his swift return to competitive pace after sitting out FP1 just shows his adaptability and focus. He looks strong.
And Lewis Hamilton, with that 5-place grid penalty hanging over him. How did his pace look in FP2, knowing he's got that hurdle to clear?
Hamilton secured 5th place in FP2, again, less than 0.2 off Norris, which clearly demonstrates his outright pace is strong. Ferrari have definitely given him a competitive car for Monza.
But the penalty still looms large.
It remains a significant hurdle, absolutely. His focus, as we said, is on trying to make history with Ferrari here. And his performance today suggests the potential is there, despite the setback. He'll be aiming to qualify as high as physically possible, maybe even P1, just to minimize the penalty's impact. Turns qualifying into a bit of a strategic game for him as much as a speed test. And those long straights might actually help him gain places if he starts a bit further back.
What about Max Verstappen? Often the guy everyone's measuring against. Seemed a little further down in FP2 than we maybe expected.
Verstappen finished 6th in FP2. And yeah, while he didn't top the timesheets in either session today, it's really important to remember Red Bull are notorious for, let's call it managing expectations in practice.
Sandbagging.
You could say that. They often run different engine modes, different fuel loads, maybe exploring different setup avenues compared to their rivals. They're known for finding significant pace on Saturday and Sunday when it really matters.
So don't read too much into P6.
I wouldn't discount him for a second. His long-run pace from the glimpses we saw looked pretty consistent. And he's always a threat, even if he's not instantly fastest in practice. Red Bull might just be playing the long game, gathering data, knowing they can turn it up when needed. It would be foolish to rule him out of the fight for pole tomorrow.
Right. Now, Fernando Alonso. Unfortunately, it sounds like his struggles continued into the second session, kind of reinforcing his earlier predictions for Aston Martin.
Alonso finished a pretty disappointing 15th in FP2, over 3/4 of a second off Norris's pace. That result, regrettably, it just underlined the difficulties Aston Martin seemed to be facing at this specific type of track.
Any clues why?
He was actually heard on the team radio noting that the tires no longer give more after relatively short runs, which suggests he was struggling not just to switch the tires on initially, but also to keep their temperature and grip over several laps.
Fundamental issue, then.
It points towards a fundamental challenge with the AMR25's setup for Monza, where the car just isn't generating the downforce needed to manage the tires effectively through those fast corners. His realistic outlook seems to be playing out. Their focus is likely shifting towards damage limitation, strategic points maybe, rather than fighting near the front.
Okay, but on a much brighter note, Williams continued to impress in FP2. Suggesting their quiet optimism from earlier was indeed pretty well placed.
Absolutely. Alex Albon finished a strong 7th, once again showing how well the FW47 suits Monza's characteristics, and George Russell, who jumped back into the Williams for this session to get some extra track time.
Oh, interesting move.
Yeah, he also placed a respectable 10th. Albon even pulled off an impressive save at Lesmos 1, caught a big snap of oversteer with incredible skill, shows his talent, but also maybe how lively that car is on the limit here.
So Williams looked genuinely competitive.
Their consistent presence in the top 10 across both sessions today really indicates they are genuine contenders for strong points this weekend. Could be a real dark horse to watch come Sunday. That low drag philosophy they run is clearly paying off big time here.
Were there any other notable incidents or observations from FP2, things that might give us more clues for the weekend?
Yeah, a couple of other things. Gabriel Bortoleto, who actually finished a decent 11th, he's currently under investigation for a yellow flag infringement. Just a reminder, the stewards are watching closely, and any penalty could obviously shuffle the grid a bit.
Right.
And also, throughout the session, you saw drivers really experimenting, lots of high fuel runs, trying out different tire compounds, soft, medium, hard for their race simulations. That meticulous data gathering is just crucial.
It's not just about headline times.
Not at all. Teams aren't just looking for outright speed. They need consistency. They need to understand tire longevity over a race distance. They're balancing the need for quick laps now with understanding how each compound will behave for, say, 20 laps on Sunday. That dictates your entire pit stop strategy. Every single lap counts in these practice sessions.
The bigger picture implications for the weekend.
Okay, so after all that action, all that detailed analysis, let's zoom out a bit. Look at the bigger picture. What do these free practice sessions really tell us about the implications for the rest of the Italian Grand Prix weekend, particularly, the championship battle Team Fortunes?
Well, what's really fascinating, I think, is how significantly today seemed to intensify that championship battle.
Yeah.
The dynamic between the McLaren teammates, Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, it's absolutely central now, isn't it?
Yeah, huge swing at Zandvoort.
Exactly. Piastri, after his great win, and Norris's really unfortunate DNF there, he managed to extend his championship lead quite significantly. Now, Norris desperately needs a strong rebound here in Monza. He needs to close that gap, keep his championship hopes really alive. His P1 and FP2 today is definitely a powerful statement, a good step.
The pressure must be immense on both of them.
Huge pressure. They're not just rivals, they're direct competitors for the biggest prize in the same machinery.
Yeah.
This weekend could be absolutely pivotal in their season-long fight. That fight for supremacy within McLaren is almost as exciting as the overall championship picture right now.
And for Ferrari, it's their home race. The Tifosis aren't just hopeful, they're absolutely hungry for a win. Do today's strong practice results genuinely fuel those hopes, or is there still a gap?
Oh, they absolutely fuel those hopes.
Certainly.
Ferrari's strong, showing Hamilton and Leclerc top 2 in FP1, then Leclerc and Sainz both top 3 in FP2. It's undeniably demonstrated that the Ferrari package is genuinely competitive here at Monza.
Imagine the scenes if they win.
The atmosphere a home win would create. just a sea of red erupting. It's almost unimaginable. The raw pace looks like it's there. The drivers are clearly motivated. The car seems to suit the track. The challenge now is just converting that practice pace into qualifying excellence and then, crucially, a flawless race performance on Sunday. But yeah, the Tifosi's dream for a home win feels much more tangible after today. They're definitely in the mix.
We also talked about Williams's quiet confidence coming in. Does their consistent presence near the front in practice suggest a real opportunity for them to make a big splash this weekend?
It certainly does. Williams consistently being in the top 10, especially Albon's strong runs, it genuinely reinforces their initial optimism. They could get a really strong points finish here at a track that just undeniably suits their car.
Not just making up numbers then.
Yeah. No, they're not just making up the numbers. They have a legitimate chance to capitalize on Monza's unique nature. A strong result could significantly help cement that 5th place in the Constructors, which would be a remarkable achievement for them this season. They've got the straight line speed. The drivers are clearly getting the most out of it. They're a fascinating wild card for points this weekend. Definitely one to watch.
And for Aston Martin and Fernando Alonso, sounds like realism is still the word. What are their realistic goals now after seeing practice unfold?
Fernando Alonso's pragmatic view, it remains consistent and, frankly, pretty accurate based on today. He understands the inherent limitations of the AMR25 on this specific type of circuit, despite the big improvements they've made elsewhere this year.
Still fighting for 5th in the Constructors, though.
Absolutely. They are still fiercely fighting for that 5th place overall. But Monza specifically will undoubtedly be about damage limitation, trying to extract every tiny bit of performance they can, rather than targeting podiums or even necessarily big points finishes. His honest assessment earlier about the tires no longer giving more, it speaks volumes about the challenges they face finding the right setup here. Their focus will likely be on clever strategy, capitalizing on any mistakes from others, maybe salvaging a point or two if they can.
Shifting focus a bit to driver mindsets. Carlos Sainz had a really powerful quote today, didn't he? Really stuck out for me.
Yes, Sainz's determination is just absolutely palpable. And that quote really sums up his fighting spirit perfectly. He said, "Para no luchar y sumar mi puntito, dejo de venir a las carreras."
Which translates
which, for those who don't speak Spanish, translates pretty powerfully to not fight and just score my little point, I'd stop coming to races.
Wow. Strong words.
Very strong. And that statement isn't just about Monza. It reflects his immense ambition, his unwavering competitive drive, especially after what's been a bit of a tough season for him with bad luck and, uncertainty about his future. He's here to compete right at the front, fight for wins, not just collect minor points. His consistent pace today across both sessions, despite any distractions, it really shows that hunger and determination to perform at his best no matter what. He's a proper racer.
And on a slightly different note, more reflective, perhaps, a pretty significant chapter in recent F1 history officially closed today with Daniel Ricciardo's announcement.
Indeed. Daniel Ricciardo officially announced his retirement from active driving in Formula One, which marks the end of a really remarkable career for one of the sport's most charismatic, most beloved figures, surely.
Absolutely. The honey badger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And alongside his retirement from racing, he also confirmed his new role as a Ford ambassador. So new chapter for him, staying within that broader motorsport world.
Yeah.
Ricciardo just brought so much joy, so much personality to F1, didn't he? That infectious smile, the aggressive driving style.
The shoey.
Can't forget the shoey. While his F1 driving days are over, his love for motorsport clearly remains. He'll undoubtedly continue to be a prominent figure, just in a different way now. It's definitely a moment of transition for a driver who left a huge mark on the sport.
Wow, okay. What an incredibly action-packed and insightful day we've had analyzing all this. So, to quickly bring it all together for everyone listening, what are the absolute key takeaways from this first day of free practice at the Temple of Speed?
Right. The crucial insights, I think, boil down to this. Ferrari has shown incredible strength at home. Hamilton, Leclerc, Sainz, all demonstrating top-tier pace and consistency. That's definitely going to ignite the Tifosi. Lando Norris, despite a few moments, has proven his speed and McLaren's strong potential here. Makes him a real contender for pole in the win.
Big weekend for him.
Huge. Meanwhile, Fernando Alonso and Aston Martin, well, as predicted, they look like they face a challenging weekend, struggling to adapt their car to Monza. Conversely, Williams has emerged as a genuine dark horse for points, really capitalizing on their car's strengths. And maybe above all,
Yeah.
the field is incredibly tight at the front, those tiny margins we saw in FP2. That sets the stage for some truly nail-biting action to come.
That tightness means we are just in for an absolutely electrifying rest of the weekend. The stakes are incredibly high for qualifying tomorrow and for Sunday's race. Championship implications, team battles heating up, individual drivers pushing for their own bit of glory. It's going to be unpredictable, thrilling, and that ultimately is what we love about Formula One, isn't it?
Precisely. Every single detail, tire choice, compound management, track position, getting that slipstream just right, it's all going to be amplified by those microscopic margins. It makes for a truly compelling spectacle.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought for you, our listener, to perhaps mull over as you look forward to tomorrow's qualifying. Given those incredibly tight margins we saw today in FP2, and of course remembering Lewis Hamilton's 5-place grid penalty, what do you think will be the single most critical factor for success in tomorrow's qualifying session? Is it just raw, outright one-lap pace? Is it flawless strategic tire management and preparation laps? Or is it simply avoiding any unexpected incidents, any red flags like the ones we saw disrupt things today?
Good question to ponder.
Think about that as you head into what promises to be an absolutely epic Saturday.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? Tried to meticulously distill the essence of those free practice sessions. We really hope you feel fully informed now and thoroughly prepared for all the drama that's sure to unfold as the Monza GP weekend progresses.
Absolutely. This has been The Deep Dive, and we truly appreciate you joining us for this in-depth look at the Monza GP Free Practice Day. If you're enjoying our deep dives into the world of motorsport and beyond, please do remember to subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your shows. That way you won't miss any of our future analysis. We'll be back soon with more insights, more surprising facts, and hopefully more unexpected turns from the incredibly fast-paced world of Formula One. Until next time, keep learning and keep that curiosity ignited.